Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is review how to attach two pieces of cloth together without having to sew them together. So on the ends, you can see that there's little slits cut. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do that one. So you just basically fold this over just a little bit, take your scissors, cut that into it, and then it's ready to go. Whatever piece you're threading through. So if I'm going to open up this piece and place the gray through, the gray will attach to itself. So if I pull it through, I still have the slit open on this side. Gray will go through itself to attach. And then I'm just going to keep pulling, and I may need to pull that down. And I'm going to keep pulling and keep pulling until we have a smaller knot on there. So that's how you attach the two together. Now, as far as starting your actual rag rug, I'm going to show you guys with yarn. Okay, you're not going to use yarn, but it's a little bit easier to understand the basic concept if I show you with yarn first. So to start off, you're going to tie a slip knot. So you don't use your hook for this, you just use your fingers. So to tie a slip knot, I just take my piece, I lay it over, and then I want to grab, so if this piece is over the top, I just kind of pinch my fingers in between and pull that through. So a slip knot, you guys have probably tied these before and don't even know it. It's just a knot that when I pull this, it's going to come undone. So again, I'm going to just loop it over. Okay. Grab the side, and you can leave a tail, that's fine. We'll actually end up weaving or braiding that into our piece. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, and this is the same process for fabric. We just leave this hanging, we don't need it. So the first thing you do is make about 5 chain stitches. So I'm already through the loop. All I do is just pull this through, make a loop the same size. So that's 1 chain stitch, and I just push this through again, 2, and you see me kind of tilting this back and forth because when you grip onto your yarn or your fabric, you need it to stay in the hook. So that's 3 chain stitches, and if it gets too big, like that loop got a little bit too big there, I'm just going to pull it back. I think I'm at 4, we'll do 1 more. So that's all that same stitch. Okay. Then to start our circular motion, we're just going to turn it. Again, we're going to ignore this little guy over here. And when I talk about grabbing a loop or grabbing a chain stitch, you can kind of see there's a hole right here. You can see there's a hole right here, and it almost looks like a braid on the outside of it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just push it through here, and then I still have my yarn, not the tail, it's a different piece. So I'm going to grab onto that, pull it through the first loop, pull it through the second loop, and then I'm going to keep going. So each time I want to grab a new braid to push into or a new loop. Sometimes I grab the wrong one and I just keep going. It's okay. So right now I'm going to go through the next loop. I'm going to grip this, I'm going to pull it through and pull it through again. Now, in order to make sure we don't get a bowl shape and we keep this flat, we may need to do an extra chain stitch every now and again. So the chain one, remember you're just gripping 1. I don't need to stab into this piece that's already made. So that gives me a little leeway so I'm not pulling this so tight and it overlaps over the top. So then I go to my next loop. I have a loop right here. Okay, I push it through. I'm going to grab this, keep going, pull it through again, and then continue. At this point, it's starting to form a circle, but I'm out of my fabric or my yarn, so I'd have to keep going. So I'm going to show you guys what this looks like on the fabric as well. So with the fabric, it's the same thing. I'm going to drop my crochet needle. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to tie a slip knot. So again, I just have a loop, goes over the top. Okay, I have the piece of fabric coming over the top, so I just bring my fingers from the bottom and pull that through. Now, you don't want a giant loop on this one. We just want it big enough for our crochet hook to come through. So then I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit. All right, so once I have my slip knot, I'm ready to go. I'm going to trim this tail down, and you guys can do that as well. Don't cut it all the way down because we're still going to braid it through. But I'm just going to trim it down so that you guys can see a little bit better on this video. All right, so I'm gonna start the same way. I've got 5 chain stitches to do. So I just grab it with my hook, pull it through the loop. So I've got 1, grab it with my hook, pull it through my loop. Grab it with my hook, pull it through. Grab it with my hook, pull it through. Now, if when I turn this, it doesn't feel like it's enough, I need a little bit more chain stitches, you guys can add another one. We're working on a circular rug. If you wanted to do an oval one, you would do a long strand of chain stitches before you get started to create the oval. Now, when I turn it, I have my tail, I kind of keep that out of the way. I still don't have enough to reach this loop over here. So I'm going to add 1 more chain stitch. And everybody's fabric is a little bit different, and so you may need to add more than the person next to you. Okay, so I'm going to loop this through, and in fact, I'm going to add even 1 more. So you can see it's a trial and error for this project. Okay, now I'm at the point where I can reach one of the loops on the outside. So you can see I have one here. You can see the loop starting to form on the outside. And again, if you grab the wrong one, it's fine. Okay, this is all a learning process. So I'm going to stab through an outside loop. I'm going to take my long piece of fabric here so I can grab my fabric and pull it through both of the loops that are on my crochet hook. I'm going to pull it till I have enough leeway. If this is too tight, if I pull it really, really tight, I can't get over, I can't move. So I need to make sure that I loosen this up a little bit. Now my next loop is right here because I already went through this one. So my next one is right here, and I'm going to end up making a bowl. It's going to start curving up, and you'll see that when you're working. So I need to do 1 more chain stitch. And there's not really a specific number, say every other one. It's not a specific number on there, so you're going to have to just decide. Now I'm out of fabric, so at this point I would need to tie another one on, but I would continue this process all the way around till we get to the outside.